I successfully failed at my Pokemon card business. Let me explain. I didn't really know how to make this video. I don't like admitting failure. I don't like admitting that I wasn't able to handle something. And at the same time, I was correct in certain things. You see, the reason I failed, and fail is in quotes really, it's not necessarily a failure, and I'll explain that in a little bit, but the reason that I failed was not something of my business plan. It wasn't something of my approach, my plans. It was in my personal mental state and execution. Let's go back and explain where I was beforehand. As of about March or April, I was doing about 200 to 250 sales a month. So for something that's a side project, it was doing pretty successfully. I was buying collections, I was having decent sales on eBay, tcgplayer, I was going to shows, I was doing a lot of stuff and having a lot of fun with it. So my advice on buying out collections, looking at singles, kind of focusing on that, not necessarily sealed, it worked. I was demonstrating that it was effective. The problem was my brain started getting ahead of where I was actually at, and that caused me to have some major setbacks. You see, I'm a perfectionist. I do not like doing things that don't feel like the best possible version of themselves. So on the business side, I was thinking I need to find more ways to vend. I need to find more sales avenues. I need to find better marketing. I need to figure all this stuff out. And on the filmmaking side, I was thinking everything needs to be perfect. I need to have good graphics. I need to have good lighting. I need everything to be exactly how it needs to be for every video to be a banger. And in reality, that's just not how it works. First, on the business side, I was still doing this very part-time. This was something that I would spend 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week on, a couple hours in the evenings packing orders, driving to the post office, maybe buying a collection or two a week. It wasn't taking a ton of my time, nor should it have at that point. I am a full-time videographer and editor. This is not my job, obviously. My job is videography. The problem was I was trying to take my Pokemon card business, this little side fun project, and put it in the same echelon, the same importance as my main job, which is absolutely not what I should have been doing. And on the content side, I was spending too much time trying to make every video perfect, every video just incredible, and more falling behind my schedule that I'd put for myself, which gave me this sense of everything kind of being too late. I was too late. There was no momentum left on the YouTube side. My audience, what little there may be, wasn't going to be interested in my work anymore. And I needed to just chase and catch up. And that led to a mental state where I just kind of gave up. When you tell yourself, oh, it's too late to start something, or it's too late to restart something, and you spend a lot of time in that headspace, it ends up creating this myth in your head that it is actually too late, when in fact it's not. You could start at any point. And that's what this video represents. This video represents me starting over, me saying it is not too late to restart, and saying that not only with my content, but with the Pokemon card business. I have been continuing to sell on the side here and there, but in reality, it's not where it was. It's not where I thought it would be at this point in the year. And I'm okay with that. That's not a bad thing. While my Pokemon card business hasn't been going as well, simply because I haven't been putting the time into it, the work stuff that I've been doing and a lot of these big projects that I've had have been doing really well. And it's been a huge undertaking, so I can be proud of the work that I've done, but I can also come back and say, I'm gonna start working on this again and make this the side project and the fun thing that it should be. I love making content. That's why I work in the industry. That's what I do. And I love every moment of it. But in reality, I can't try to put this content on the same level as my work content. It's not like I'm gonna somehow magically have another 40 hours that I can plug into this and also take care of my work stuff, take care of the business stuff, and be with my family at any point. I can't do all of that. And that's kind of the tip for today, if you will. If there's anything you could take away from this, while it's never too late to restart or start the Pokemon card business side, or just collecting, or just being involved in the hobby and however you see fit, remember to make sure that it stays in the area that it needs to be in. Let it grow organically. Don't put a bunch of pressure on it to make it this thing that doesn't need to be yet. If I just continued to work on small incremental growth and just said, I'm gonna put out a video when I can put out a video, and I'm gonna put out a short when I can put out a short, and I'm gonna continue doing it that way, I would have been a lot better off. I don't know where I would be right now. Maybe it wouldn't be huge. Maybe I'd still be, hopefully around like 1,000 subscribers and still doing 50 to 100 sales or something like that. That's not bad. It's putting it in its place and letting it incrementally grow. Right now, the market's kind of going through a correction, and that's a good thing. And honestly, this is a great time to jump into this, to start working towards your business. Buy out a small collection or something, whatever you can afford to start out with. Find a way. There's a lot of people that are panicking, that are thinking this is over. It's all over. The market's dead. We're all cooked. Sell everything. You know what? You can be there to pick up the pieces and say, gladly, 70% Thank you. I will grow. I'll take it. No problem. And it's not too late to start doing content. You know, there was a huge boom and a lot of people were able to do a lot of crazy numbers on YouTube. And that's awesome. I'm so glad there's some awesome people like PokePass or TCG. He's doing amazing work. He's doing such cool stuff and his business is still doing really well because he was able to focus on it and put it in its place. You know, he's a pastor. He has a full-time job, but he was also able to incrementally grow this thing. And that's awesome. And his channel is doing well. It's so cool to see. And you can do that. I can do that. It's not too late to start doing it. And it doesn't have to be professional. I mean, I have a good camera. I use my work camera. It's not anything special. It doesn't need to be this incredibly articulated, perfectly edited video every time. If you're doing the content side, you also don't have to hit on every single sale or be doing a ton of sales every day. You can just incrementally grow with something small. You know, if you're doing content, start with your phone. If you're doing Pokemon card sales, start with maybe like a small collection or maybe some extra hits that you don't need for your binder. I'm working on this Gigadex illustration binder you may have seen in my shorts where I'm trying to find an illustration rare or art rare or some kind of special card for every Pokemon in the Pokedex and put it in one binder. And there's a lot of hits that I find or I pick up collections that I don't need for the binder that'll end up going for sale. And that's going to be how I focus on it. It's going to be a little bit of both. I'm going to enjoy both aspects of it. That does mean that the business side is going to grow relatively slowly. I'm perfectly fine with that because again, this is a side project. This is a fun project, allegedly, even though my mind decided to make it not a fun project for some reason. So I'm going to continue grinding on that. Content. I've been putting out shorts and stuff every day since January 1st. I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to put out some of these videos. It's going to be talking about my journey, how I'm kind of restarting the Pokemon journey, because I'm sure there are some people out there that started businesses when the boom started and maybe just got overwhelmed like I did or fell off the wagon, if you will, and are now trying to come back into it. And hey, if you're there, welcome. It's a weird place to be, but it is not too late for you to jump back on and start working in this. The videos are going to be a little less structured. As you can see, I've kind of been rambling a little bit. I don't have a script. There's a light, there's nothing else. My computer is completely blank. I don't have a script. I didn't really have too much of an idea other than I wanted to talk about this. And that's kind of what I'm going to be going towards. I'm going to talk about business stuff that I'm noticing, things that I find really interesting, maybe a card or something that I think is undervalued, or maybe just talking about collections and things you can pick up and things that I found. That's going to be the extent of it. And as I get deeper, I will continue to refine that and figure out what works for me, what I really enjoy. Is it going to be more focused on the nitty gritty of like tcgplayer statistics and percentages and every little thing, or is it going to be kind of generalized tips and generalized thoughts on the business side? I'm not sure. It's gonna be a little bit of both. So if you're interested in that, please make sure you subscribe, stick around. You know, if you're still here from whenever the heck I posted my last video, I don't know, like April, maybe, I don't know, too long ago. Thanks. I'm glad you're still here. And to all the new people who are coming through from the shorts, I also appreciate you and hope that you watch long form, because I know that's not typically a thing that people that watch shorts do. All in all, I'm not trying to be perfect in this anymore. I don't want to have the perfect videos, the perfect sales, the perfect collection pickups, hitting the right prices at the right times and seeing those numbers soar. I don't care. You know, I'm gonna do my best in this. I'm gonna learn and I'm gonna fail, and I'm gonna appreciate that for what it is and make sure it stays in its proper place. Not too much pressure, but also something that I do want to do and I do need to push myself to take on in its, you know, little confined box of a couple hours a day or whatever it may be. Balance. That's, guess what I've learned is balance. You know, I need to figure out how to balance things, how to properly approach them, and how to enjoy them, you know, and not to put too much pressure on this. This is fun. If you're watching this video and you're thinking about starting a Pokemon card business and you're either watching this to figure out how to start it, maybe you're trying to figure out what the next steps are or what some tips are and stuff, just know that you're probably on the level that you don't need to take it too seriously. Enjoy it, you know, enjoy the journey. It's going to be a journey because it's a grind, you know, especially as the market corrects. If it continues down, I don't know if it will or not. That might be another video. It's going to take time to grow regardless. If it continues to boom, it's going to take time to grow. You know, this is not an industry that you can just jump in and immediately make tons and tons of money with low effort. It'll be decent effort for the profit you get. So make sure that you're putting in the amount of work that you can and not focusing on, I need to get my numbers up, therefore I need to work, and then burning out like I did and overwhelming yourself for no reason, because life is too short to sit there and constantly feel like you're missing out or constantly feel like you're too late to something or whatever it may be. I don't know if this video is any good. I don't know if this is something that is going to connect with you, but hopefully there are some of you out there that have been through this same kind of mental journey of starting big, getting a little bit too into it, getting a little bit too crazy, and getting overwhelmed and falling out of it and falling out of love with the business side and with the creation side. If that's you, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You can continue doing it, and hopefully these videos will be part of that help. For now, I'm gonna make videos when I can make videos. I hope to put out some relatively more frequently, though I guess my frequency was, what, 7 months, so I'm already ahead of schedule. I'll continue to put out short form stuff that's more my collection journey and maybe some discussions on different sets and things. For now, that's all I got. If you guys wanted to shop for me, I still have stuff up on TCGplayer, and I also have stuff up on eBay, though it's very little at this point. Make sure you subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. Hopefully we can all take this weird journey together of restarting. For now, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.